Alright, so this should be the last vehicle video. We're doing the ambulance and then the engine. To start, figured everyone likes the red lights. It's not a very impressive flash pattern. It is what it is. It doesn't speed up, it doesn't switch to a different pattern. This is it for the ambulance. But there it is. Up front, it's like any other ambulance you've ever been in, with the exception of we have two radios. That one is the normal talk to dispatch fire channel, fire radio. And this one is the airband radio, so we can listen to the aircraft when they're coming in, or if we had to, talk to the aircraft in the event of emergency. But other than that, it's just an ambulance up front. Why there's a jump bag up here, I don't know. They went on an ambulance call earlier, and I guess that's just where it lives for right now, because there's two on the ambulance and one guy likes to ride in back, so that's how they have it set up. But people want to know what brand it is. Remote Medical and Crusader, those are like the two branded badges on it for the ambulance. There is going to be a like Antarctic Fire Department Q&A coming out, which will go over a bunch of fire department questions, but I'll answer some kind of repeats here. Why does everything look beat up? It kind of is. Like, you'll notice the doors don't match down here. If a door gets broken or needs replacement, there's no paint department, there's no graphics shop to match it and make it look nice. It's a case of throw a door on so it works and move on with life. Everything's dirty. There's a lot of volcanic ash, and so if you wash the trucks frequently, the paint would get scratched up, and so it kind of is what it is. Like, they get washed once a year with a power washer, and that's kind of about it. Back home, if it's dirty, wash it. Here, things just kind of stay dirty with all the dust. But C-spine equipment, C-collars, all our bandages, band-aids, some syringes, sterile water, some more PPE. There's gowns, gloves, airway equipment, LMAs, nasal cannulas. You will notice we have two monitors on here. We have that older style, and we have a more modern life pack. The reason is the life pack is set up for like manual defibrillation, for like paramedics who can set rate and shock and all that. But for like our EMTs and EMRs, the other one has an AED mode where it does all the math and it's shock or not shock. Plus, this one doesn't have 12 lead cables, the other one does, so that's why there's two monitors. They each are kind of set up for two different things. Stair chair, our kind of bigger jump bag. There's airway stuff in here, an O2 bottle. As far as meds, we follow National Registry, and we have everything paramedic level and below. So we have epi and bicarb and glucagon, oral glucose, activated charcoal, all the usual stuff. For narcs, we do have one for seizure medication. We have like diazepam, and then we have morphine and fentanyl for like pain management. That's it for narcs, just the three. And then really the only Antarctica equipment on here is that big, basically what's a sleeping bag, just to keep people a little bit warmer when they're moving around on the stretcher. But other than that, there isn't a whole lot going on in here. Got our portable suction, couple spare blankets. There's some splints underneath the seat for like leg fractures, arm fractures, that kind of thing, but that's really about it in the ambulance. So I'm a paramedic, my lieutenant's a paramedic, there's one or two more. We have a couple AEMTs, a couple basics, and some first responders. Like, the minimum to come here is first responder, but if you have more, you can certainly have a little bit better shot at coming here. And the requirements are all going to be in like the Q&A video too. So check that out. That'll be probably a week or two once I'm back in New Zealand. Just because it's a little bit bigger video, it didn't take forever to upload. Yeah, like we don't, that, as I was talking, throw a door on it. If it works, it works. We don't have a paint department or like a lettering graphic department, so just keep it working. Just keep everything going strong. We don't really have anyone who can fix body work. It is what it is. It's all logistics. Everything comes down on a boat or a plane, and spare parts are kind of a premium, so that's the ambulance. The engine is a Pierce. A lot of people were asking what the model was. The Aero XT, for those playing along. I did mention in a previous kind of walking through the fire station tour that this shifts weird to like pump. And that's because it's built on like an airport, like crash truck chassis. And so in order to shift the pump, you can't just flip the normal little road to pump to road switch, or it'll choke out the truck and it'll die on you. What you have to do is over here, there's a, you can see T case and pump road switch, and there's two little lights next to it. You'll park, you put it in neutral, you hit this switch down, and then you hit drive on your gear selector, your selector button for drive. It'll flash, and then this light will go from road to pump, and then you can put the truck back in neutral, and then to drive again, and then you can switch the little flip lever into pump, and that'll put you in pump. And to go back to road mode, you flip the little handle back to road, put the truck back in neutral. No, it's neutral, and then flip the switch. The switch works the same that it does on a normal fire truck backhoe. So neutral, flip the switch, drive, hit the button again. This will switch from pump to road, and then you can go back to neutral on here, and then you're back in road mode. So a little extra step, it's a little weird, but that's about really the only big difference between a fire truck back home and the one down here. Top heavy, they're taller, but the speed limits around town where these things live is 25 miles an hour tops. Usually it's closer to like 5, 10, 15. So yeah, they're top heavy, but you're also not going fast enough to where it's really an issue. One interesting rule down here is that sirens aren't really allowed to keep from antagonizing the wildlife. And so an emergent response here is following the speed limits with your lights on. There is sirens on here, but it's very much, it's a case of you can use them a little bit if someone's just not paying attention, or there's a larger vehicle who may not see you behind them. You can use the siren just to get them to move, but silent responses are kind of the rule here, which is why there is no air horns on here. We have a siren, but no air horn, which has disappointed one or two people, but it is what it is. Normally back home, you'd have one battery charger cable. This truck has 5. One's for a battery charger, and the rest are for pump heat and tank heat, and just different heaters for all the water lines and pump and tank and all that. But we're inside, so those aren't plugged in right now. In back, very much a standard fire truck layout. We do have AED, some basic med supplies, a jump bag, because with 2 ambulances, sometimes they're both at airfields. And in fact, I've transported a patient in the engine on a call, so it does happen. Quite a few people were kind of interested in the pump. The trucks have a 3,000 gallon tank, like 1,000 GPM pump. So between the two, there's 6,000 gallons of water, which would hopefully take care of anything that would happen, but there are a couple fire hydrants scattered around town if you needed them. which aren't very impressive. They're basically gated Ys on the end of a water line. So they're there, but they're not particularly impressive. For those that are interested, there's the job number. These trucks were ordered at the same time and are identical. So this is engine 1. And the only difference between it and 2 is instead of 01 at the end, it's 02 at the end after the dash. This is our foam selector, where normally you have like a digital display where you select, you know, your percent 136, your flow, all that. This is how we kind of control our foam flow. And we don't dilute foam, and it's a special anti-gel Antarctic grade foam. So there's foam for you. A couple different discharges. Nothing super crazy, couple cross lays. One interesting thing with the cold is after you run the pump, like during pump run-ups or on a call, we connect an air hose, an air line into the pump, and then go around and blow out all the valves with compressed air, just to get all the water out of all the lines and valves to keep them from freezing. First kind of compartment, fan, engineer's compartment. There's a lot of hose fittings, stuff that's trying to fall out and kill me apparently. A couple nozzles, fan. I'm trying to be kind of sort of quiet about it. A lot of squeaky doors. Hand tools, a couple shovels, a couple sledgehammers, little short pipe poles, just general hand tools. Rope bags, a high-rise pack, because, well, the tallest thing here is 3 stories, but they do have standpipes in them, so instead of trying to drag a hose line upstairs from outside, we do have a couple high-rise packs floating around. Should the need arise. Everything between the 2 engines is the same, and all the doors are labeled with what's in them. And yeah, apparently these doors will break if you slam them when it's really cold outside, like during winter. So that's what that little message is for. Water can, some more tools like an air chisel. A lot of people were asking about the license plate. That's just something someone threw on there. Nothing else here has a license plate. So that's just something that someone in the past brought and threw on there for a giggle. There's some hard suction up there in that cabinet because we're right next to the ocean. So I guess if worse come to worse, we could draft if we had to. Since the largest hydrant here is a gated Y, a 2.5, there's no LDH. We just have 3-inch supply line and some 2.5 that we can pull off if we had to. So no LDH here. Couple fittings for the hydrants, a little length of hose, a little flare container or container for whatever. And actually, I did kind of half lie. We do have 1 roll of LDH. That's it. That's all we got. And it's very confusing. They're identical, but this one has like ladders that are 1.5 feet longer, which is why the ladders stick out on this truck versus this truck. So just longer ladders, that's the only difference. Stokes basket, backboard, a couple pike poles up behind the ladders. All our extrication equipment. Hydraulic tools, couple lines, salvage cover. In town, we have gasoline-powered, hydraulic-powered tools. For the airfields, we have electric, battery-powered tools. So 2 kinds of tools for the task at hand for extrication equipment. Lots of cribbing. The power unit for the extrication equipment, K12 saw. A little vial of oil for the extrication equipment, hydraulic fluid. So, as I was saying, we don't really have LDH. Most of what we do is 2.5-inch couplings, so instead of a big, LDH discharge, it's neck down to 2.5, just for the sake of what we have here. Little mini cabinet that we just decided, some caution tape, extra fittings. Nothing too big because it's a small cabinet, but if you have the space, you might as well use it. We do have MSA packs. Apparently they got new Scott ones ordered, so these will be going away, which, I'm a MSA fan back home, but I'll use whatever. It doesn't really hurt my feelings. Blanket, like a RIT pack, should we need it. Which brings us to the officer's seat. A lot of stickers. Stickers down here are a big thing. Same with trading patches. Like stickers, I'm pretty sure can be used as a form of currency along with patches. In fact, today a bunch of people from the Coast Guard ship that's here were trading patches, and I tried to offer money and patches. So sometimes you can't even give money away down here. That engine is exactly the same, with the exception of, since it's the spare engine, the thermal camera is on this engine. The couple little thermal cameras for the packs are on this engine. Just because one's kind of the reserve second out engine, one's the primary, and they only have enough stuff for one engine or the other. So other than that, one last thing I can do is 1, not fall, but 2, fire up the lights just like the ambulance. It's kind of tight quarters here, and since no siren, this is what we look like on a response. Red and blue at 15 miles an hour. It's very entertaining to see the engine go by at normal, driving around town speeds with its lights on and no siren going to a call. But right now it's summer, so scene light's not really an issue, but there is a generator up there that powers scene lights and the heat for the pump and the tank and all that when we're out of the station and outside. So as far as call volume, right around like 15 a month maybe. I mean, like anywhere else, it kind of calls come and go. Today they've had 2. Yesterday when I was on, there were 0. But all that's going to be in the Q&A. Forewarning, if you go looking for it, there's a couple swears here and there. Not a big deal. It was a very informal. People gathered questions from people back home and we answered, so don't expect, big, high production value on that, but once that comes out, hopefully between those videos and these videos and me answering questions in the comments, all your questions will be answered, and if not, I'll still answer them. But other than that, thank you guys for watching me throughout this time. Post very low quality videos, but I'm just a firefighter with a camera who's here. So hope you found it interesting anyway. Thank you. Hi, it's me again. One last fun bonus fact at the end of the video. I mentioned how these stay in town. They were built on ARF chassis in the hopes of, you got a flight, drive it out to the airfield, use it as an airport truck. Makes life easy. The problem is, with the weight of the truck on the chassis, they'd be fine at the airfield where the ice is 100 feet thick, and they're fine on land because it's land. But in the summer, when there's flights going on, the transition from land to ice road gets really soupy and really sketchy, and it's not fun even in something like the ambulance, where you have to ride a magic carpet towed by a tractor just to get to the ice road over the, oftentimes what is a lake more than it is an ice road. And so these would more than likely punch through the ice right where it meets the land. And so best laid plans and all, they will never be used at the airfield despite being built for them. So there's your last end of the video fun fact, because I forgot it and it didn't come up in the Q&A.